around right now. But fear is a natural response to challenges or the unknown in an emotion that serves a valuable purpose. Think fight or flight response, but it can quickly become unhealthy when it paralyzes us and propels us into frantic behavior. Negative outcomes aside, the Bible actually commands us to do not be afraid. In fact, there are over 300 variations of the command, fear not, throughout the scriptures. As Christians, we don't need to fear because we know God is in control. God is on his throne, meaning nothing else is. Not a diagnosis, unmet expectation, or uncertain future. He alone has all the power and all the authority, and nothing can threaten that. This means when fear creeps in, we believers are called to take our fear and sift it through his unfailing love. So brothers and sisters, please remember, for he said, I would never leave you nor forsake you. So we can confidently say, the Lord is my helper. I will not fear. What can man do to me? Hebrews 13:5. You must remember, brothers and sisters, to cast your cares upon him because God, he cares for you. And if you or anyone that you know is helping the displaced families with food, drinking water, clothing, temporary shelter, etc., please let us know and we will get the word out to our listening families and friends. Please call 865-577-4885. Someone will take your information. Remember, we are all in this together. Teamwork makes the dream work. We love you, East Tennessee, and we're praying for you. We are going to pull together because we are called to uplift each other in such a time as this. Remember, there's a way out of your mess, and it's JESUS.
Where can you buy a brand new Nissan with a lifetime warranty? Kingston Pike. Hey folks, Gerald Anderson with Ted Russell Nissan. You heard it right. Every new Ted Russell Nissan comes with a lifetime warranty, and that's a long, long time. Ted Russell Nissan on Kingston Pike.
Good morning and welcome to AM 1380 WYSH and Ask Your Neighbor. Ask Your Neighbor can also be heard and seen on our website, WYSHradio.com. And if you are in Anderson, Roane, or Morgan County and have Comcast cable, you can watch Ask Your Neighbor on BBB TV Channel 12. Ask Your Neighbor is the program where you call in and do just that. Ask Your Neighbor. Do you have a comment? Do you have a problem? Or do you have a question? Then call in and ask your neighbor. 865-457-1380 or toll free at 877-711-4005. And for those of you that might be listening or watching on the internet, you can email from our website, WYSHradio.com. Just click on the Contact Us button and email your questions. Now sit back and listen as listeners throughout East Tennessee and the entire world answer your questions on Ask Your Neighbor on BBB TV 12 and AM 1380 WYSH.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome into Ask Your Neighbor here. Welcome into a Thursday. Normally, as we told you the other day, this is David West, Stars and Stories of the Kaz Walker Show. David can't be here today. He's planning to be back either next week or week after next, but Johanna and Gary Whitley agreed to come in and talk with us today. We're talking about First Baptist Church Clinton. We'll talk about Ram and whatever else y'all want to talk about. Good morning, guys. How are you?
We're great.
Great. Good to see you up here. Two of the sweetest folks that I know, kindest people that I know. I don't think that I've ever asked y'all for anything that you weren't able to help with or do. And all the stuff y'all do for the church. I aggravate Gary about weekly about the church service, getting it. He says, I'm not doing that no more, Ron. I keep emailing him now. But
he kind of does it behind the scenes.
Well, he does it when it needs getting done.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, but that's how we get it and put it on for everybody. So tell us what we're talking about with Ram coming up this November, right?
It sure is. It's coming up November 2nd and 3rd there at First Baptist Church. We're very excited about it, and we're coming down to the wires on our planning, and now our process is to let people know they need to come and take advantage of these services.
As far as the physicians, the eye doctors, dentists, I know that seems to have gotten more difficult, over time, whether it's been COVID or just everybody busy or what. Have you all been able to get an adequate number of physicians?
We have got an adequate number on Saturday.
Gotcha.
Sunday is an abbreviated day because some of the students that help us with the RAM clinic have to go back to their locations.
Gotcha.
So they start going home about 3.
Okay.
So we are still looking for a few dentists on Sunday.
Okay.
But Saturday's been real easy, and we've got it taken care of. But Sunday's our goal right now.
Okay. And need some dentists for that. What about just volunteers? I remember in the couple that I helped with, RAM has a pretty strict format for bringing in volunteers, and it takes a few minutes if you want to do it. So if folks wanted to, they need to start looking at it now, right?
You have to go to the RAM website,
Mm-hmm.
and on the RAM website, you can register as a volunteer, and then you can register. When you do the registration process, it will allow you to say you want to volunteer at the Clinton Clinic on November 2nd and 3rd.
Gotcha.
So we're doing great on our volunteers. We have got kitchen services. Will be feeding those dentists and those doctors and the medical staff both days. Our specialty is banana pudding. We have that every time we have a clinic. So the banana pudding's coming back. We've got brownies for treats for them. We've got pre-planned meals, and what is really so special is a lot of the area churches have offered to help with those meals.
That's great.
So it's kind of it's really hard work, but it is fun. It's something enjoyable for them.
I can't remember the figures right offhand, but after the last couple of RAMs, we would get kind of the economic impact of what it had. Do you have any of those numbers?
Well, this is our 4th RAM.
Yes.
And so our last RAM was right before COVID hit. It was in 2018, and COVID hit just very shortly after. But we usually do about $100,000 worth of medical services in the clinic. We usually see between 400 and 500 patients.
Wow.
So they can receive dental, medical, or vision care. If you've never seen anything like it, it's just a blessing to be a part of it.
It is.
To see those people that, have been maybe hurting and suffering through their teeth. Maybe they needed that new pair of glasses and they just simply could not afford them. To see them walk away in one day with a brand new pair of glasses.
And the thing, too.
That's life-changing.
Absolutely.
And that tooth repaired, and then the the medical check is wonderful, because if they have something serious that they need to be referred to, they'll take care of that and set them on the right way for healing.
Folks that participate in it, there's no questions asked,
No
right?
questions.
And I was talking about this the other day on the air. I think a lot of times people think, oh, this is just people that are at the end of their rope or what have you, but it's not. There are people that work every day, and maybe they have insurance, but it doesn't have dental or it doesn't have eyeglasses. I had no idea what glasses cost. None. Zero. I mean, I hadn't needed them until recently, and I went and got an eye appointment, and they said, well, what glasses do you want? Went through. It was $1,600.
It's amazing how fast it mounts up.
Yeah.
And a lot of people use readers, for as long as they can.
Absolutely.
And then finally, they get to the end of the road where they really got to have some glasses. And but we're really excited this year because we have the addition of the children. So children can come to our RAM clinic this year.
Had we not been able to service kids prior?
We have never serviced children.
And is that a RAM policy, or was that?
That is a RAM policy.
Oh, wow.
And so we're really excited about it. They have serviced children at other clinics. They just hadn't done that at our clinic.
Okay.
But they can receive vision, dental care, and medical care, all three, just like the adults.
Oh, wow.
Now, the children have to be accompanied by an adult.
Sure.
And if they're not getting services, they will not be allowed in the
Family Life
Care Center.
Okay.
Yeah. But if they're receiving services, they just need to be with an adult, and we are tickled to death.
Oh, that's fantastic.
We think that there's a lot of kids out there that need glasses, and they can come in, they can be examined, and then they will walk away with those glasses that day.
That is fantastic.
It's a miracle, really.
It really is.
It really is for those families that really need it.
The very first one that we did, I participated in a little bit. The second one, I was more involved in fundraising and stuff like that. But it is.
You did the telethon.
Yeah, we did a telethon. We did a lot of stuff. But it was, it really is something that, I don't know, like you said, it's life-changing. That sounds cliche, but it's not.
It is.
To
It
the
really
people.
is.
I've never seen people so excited in their life to have their teeth pulled.
Exactly.
Seriously, I mean, because they've been in pain for so long, and to walk out of there, with a mouthful of gauze, but a smile as big as you could get, because they no longer were in pain, and even I had acquaintances. In fact, I had a cousin that went down and they fixed her teeth. She had, bad teeth, and they fixed them for her. I mean, it was completely different smile, so for nothing. And it really is life-changing. And if folks out there need it, again, they don't ask any questions, nothing. You just go in and get everything fixed.
Yeah. Stan Brock set this program up in 1989, and it has grown greatly. But it has helped so many people. And the clinic was really interesting the way that it started. Stan Brock was on an Indian reservation, and he fell sick. And it was 26 days to medical care. For him to get medical care. And so he kind of promised the Lord he'd work on this, and he did.
Really?
He's passed away now, but he had to go 26 days to get the care. And he stated that it was simple care. For America. It was care that we offer almost daily. But when you're out in the, out in the bush, it's not something you can get a hold of.
So does RAM function outside of the United States too?
Yes, it does. It started outside of the United States.
I didn't know that.
And it came to Sneedville, Tennessee on May the 9th in 1992, I believe.
Really?
That was the first U.S. clinic.
Sneedville, Tennessee.
Isn't that interesting?
That is
so
interesting.
Close to us. But he lived in Maryville, so that was kind of close for him. He lived very simple. He lived kind of in was really almost like an old school gymnasium. And, he lived very simply. We did get to meet him for the first 2 Rams that we had at the church. He always would come and pass out the numbers to make sure they would be given out, fairly to those that came first.
That's cool.
They would get the numbers.
I never got to meet him.
He was a very interesting man. Very interesting man.
I know David WYSH has met him a number of times, and I don't know how they crossed paths, but he said one day that he was sitting next to him and they were eating, right? And he said they sat down, and he said there was a big bowl of rice, and so David just started dumping the rice on his plate. And he said, Mr. Brock said, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" He said, "I was just getting some of this rice." He said, "Well, that's my dinner." It was his. That's all he was eating. So David said, "Well, I'm sorry." He said, "No, it's okay. You go ahead and keep it." But
that's funny.
And he live in Oak Ridge for a while? Didn't
no, I don't know about that. He may have.
He lived in a old school building in Knoxville for a long time.
Saw that on the news.
Now they're over to Rockford.
Okay.
And they've got a beautiful facility over there, and that's the home office. And things have changed a lot. The younger generation are running it.
Sure.
But everything's done through their website.
Yes,
RAM.org. Everything you do, everything's through their website now.
And that was one of the, I don't know if it's one of the first, but I remember early on when we had it at the church, it was all run through the website. Probably more difficult for me then, or for us then. It's a lot. Technology's a little easier now. But what do you need from our listeners outside of to come and get service?
Our first thing is to make sure if they need services, they come.
November 2nd and 3rd, right?
2nd and 3rd. We want them there. Now, the process of the RAM is we have a committee that will greet them on Friday night. The parking lot right beside the church.
City parking lot?
Yes, they're right in that city parking lot, and it's first come, first serve.
Yes.
And they will be given numbers as they come in into the parking lot, and a lot of the patients will come, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning or even earlier.
Yeah.
We'll have hot chocolate, and, we'll greet them very pleasantly and just be happy to see them. It's kind of different this year. They will remain in their car, and they will take 10 patients over to the church at a time and process, process them in, and then they'll go get 10 more. And that prevents us from having a backlog of individuals waiting in line.
Gotcha.
They'll be more comfortable in their cars.
Gotcha.
So we're real excited about that, because a lot of people are in pain and they're hurting, and the last thing they want to do is, stand in a line.
What's the, is there a cutoff number where you say that's all we can do?
Yes, there will be a cutoff number. Now, we're still collecting doctors.
Yeah.
We're looking for vision doctors, we're looking for dentists, we're looking for medical doctors. And so, depending upon how many doctors we have,
yes,
that will, the ratio will be back percentage to the
so
number
that's
of
what it's
people
based.
we can meet.
Obviously, that's what it's based on. And if the more doctors you have, the more people you can see.
Care. So right now we're projecting between 400 and 500. So
is that both days or each day?
Both days.
Okay.
That's both days.
Didn't we do about 900 people on one of the first ones?
But we didn't do an abbreviated Sunday at the second one. The second one, I think, is the one we served the most.
I think you're right.
Most with. But the rules have changed a little bit on that second day, because we use a lot of students that are doing their residency, and they will do dental cleaning, do glasses, those kinds of things.
Sure.
And they have to get back to their school for Monday.
They got to get back. Got to get back to the dorms.
Yeah.
That's great. It's a fantastic thing. I was introduced to it at the church, and it was, like I said, it was a really, really felt good to be part of it. And on the first one, I remember I stopped by. I didn't do a whole lot. We did some broadcasting and stuff. I stopped by, and they said, "Here, we've got so much banana pudding. You can have some."
Yes.
I was like, "I don't want to take. I feel terrible walking out of here with food." And they were like, "Really? We're trying to get some people to take it because we got." Oh man, it was wonderful.
Oh my goodness! It's one of the area churches donated it in the beginning, but now those individuals, I think, prayerfully have passed on, and so now other people have stepped up and filled the bill, because we've been doing this a lot of years. But that banana pudding is just the showcase of the whole thing.
I remember the first time I walked into the Family Life Center, and I went upstairs and looked down, and it was just, you know what I mean? It's like it converted from a gym to a small medical community with all these, for lack of a better word, cubbies, these curtained cubbies. And I don't remember, 50 or 60, I don't remember how many there were, but it was just...
It's the whole gym floor.
It was a huge transformation.
Yeah. Well, this year they're going to do something different. They're going to put rooftops, if you will, on the dividers, so that you will have dividers on 3 sides, and then you will also have covering on the top. So you will just, when you look down on them this year, you'll just see the tents, because it gives the patients more privacy.
And didn't we use Sunday school rooms or something for mammographies one time?
We did.
Okay.
We did.
We're doing it again.
And we're doing that again. And they also do the vision in some of the Sunday school rooms. We just take over the whole church. I mean, it really does, doesn't it, Gary? I mean, if it's not storing something, it's offering services, or it's registering patients into the facility. So it's a big operation. We're real proud of it. But when they come in, they will be processed, like I said, 10 at a time. And then they will go and have their services, and we'll get 10 more, and work our way through them that way.
The medical doctors use the Sunday school rooms because it's private.
Yes.
Just like you would in a doctor's office.
Yeah.
And on what you was talking about, it's kind of one number I read, the first or second one, I think is probably the second one. We pull 1,500 teeth.
Wow.
So
that's
it's
amazing.
just amazing how much. But I didn't know it till they got to this, and I'm not 100% sure on this. I don't think Medicare will pay to have teeth pulled, but they will pay some on dentures.
Yes.
So if people can get their teeth out, they can go get dentures
exactly
through some of their insurance, which they're so happy to get to, like you said earlier, so happy to get that done.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing to me also, they have their own truck that makes glasses. So what they do, they do the eye exam. They go out in the truck, and there's people there grinding, and some of the volunteers work in that truck. They teach them, and they make their glasses. Then you pick which glasses you want to, just like you would in a doctor's office.
Yeah.
And then they come back in, and they fit them to the glasses and everything, just like you would in a regular optometrist's office.
Well, see, my insurance doesn't include eye care. Yeah. And like I said, I was just blown away. I have since realized I had to get new ones, and I've since realized there are cheaper ones available, But still, it was like $230. Yeah, so it's still expensive. And you have to, normally, like anytime I bought them, you have to wait a week or so. You go in, get
Exactly.
So it's amazing they can grind it, make it right there.
Well, what's so special for me, because I was a teacher before I retired,
yes,
is that children grow so fast and they play so hard. So when they get those glasses, sometimes they'll break them, but they outgrow them. I mean, they just grow so fast. And so we are thrilled to offer these children.
Is there, when you say children, is there an age? So it doesn't matter if they're little bitty fellers all the way up to teenagers.
All the way up.
That's
We're so tickled
fantastic.
to have them. And I just really want to spread that message, because being a school teacher, I know how many kids that are out there that need help. And this is the way parents can get it done.
I was talking to E.T. Stamey back, it's been years ago, probably back when we did our first summertime lunch or breakfast provision, and he would take them out. And he told me, he said, I had absolutely no idea of the depth and the width of the need that we had until I started doing that, and see kids that that was all they were going to have that day. And so it's, again, I say that to say this: there are a lot of folks that we get by, we get our light bill paid and stuff like that. But if you have a dental emergency or maybe a medical emergency, eyes or what have you, and it's an extra cost, there's a lot of folks that they can't do it. They put it off. And this is a great opportunity.
It is. It's just a wonderful opportunity, and I am excited about that. That speaks near and dear to my heart.
When I was involved, I want to say that to put one on, the numbers in my head are sitting at like $35,000 or $40,000, maybe even upward.
You are correct.
So how did you guys just raise all that through?
Well, we've got it through private donations. We have 2 corporate sponsors.
Okay.
You want to talk about those?
Yes. Smile 180.
Okay.
He's part of Delta Dental. That's that portion of Delta Dental. Them and MIG Insurance are the 2 corporate sponsors we have. And between that and corporate donations, but that's our 2 big sponsors this year. So we've been able to raise close to that, so we're still.
We're short about $5,000. We're working real hard on that last $5,000.
Absolutely.
And but it comes. I mean,
it always has.
As soon as people hear about it, they're willing to either participate or to donate or to offer some kind of service like banana pudding.
There you go.
That's cooked off-site. That's not cooked at the church. It's brought in by another volunteer, and a lot of the food is. The area churches have been tremendous.
If somebody out there in our audience wants to do something, and maybe they're like me and they're not really technologically astute, can they call the church and you guys walk them through it or something?
Absolutely. Call the church. You can call First Baptist Church.
Okay.
And that number is
865-457. I think it's 9358.
Yep, I believe you're right.
And he always remembers. I always confuse the last 2 numbers. But you just call the church, and they'll patch you through to some of us, and we will be more than happy to help them.
I know that in times past, Dr. Bible has helped, and we've got a lot of our local folks.
Yeah, our local dentists are there.
Yes.
Dr. Meyer, Dr. Bible,
yes.
Our local dentists here in town, and more dentists in this area, I do help. It's just getting harder to get enough dentists to do one of these things. But what happens is, like we may get a dental school, and they'll come in, and they're resident students, so they can do the work.
Yes.
Under their
residency. Yeah.
But also, we part of that money goes to, we house them and we put them in hotels, and of course, like she's talking about feeding them, but we take care of them while they're here, including housing.
Well, I recall, I don't know if it's doctor or dentist or what, some had come from like far out, like maybe California had flown in, and they were talking about we put them up, we fed them, we get them here and back.
Well, Dr. Chung and some of those dentists in Oak Ridge always come. But what is so wonderful, they just work together, don't they, Gary? Yes. We have ladies and gentlemen, too, there that do teeth cleaning, and a lot of people just come to have their teeth cleaned.
Dental hygiene.
And they just all work together, and they never even really knew each other, because there's so many of them there. It's pretty impressive to see.
See, people probably had no idea that they offered something as simple as dental cleaning. Tell people, do you know all the services that they offer? Because
well, it depends on obviously what the patient needs.
Okay.
But they do dental cleaning, they do fillings, extractions. That's the most of what people want is extractions. But whatever the people want, we try to provide it. The doctors try to provide it, and they are all professional medical staff. There's no one there that's not certified, bonded, and all those things.
And then,
but they will try to provide what they need. If they don't, we'll try to do some. If we need to, we've always looked into aftercare if we can afford it. If the money comes in and we have the means.
I know we did some diabetes aftercare in years past that we were able to do that through. I think Jim down. Clinton drug. Some of the drugstores all stepped up.
They opened up.
Maybe all of them did.
Yeah, they open up on Sunday and then they run. Saturday and Sunday, and then they run. They have a runner that runs back and forth to the church.
Is there anything you can think of that we're limited that we can't do as far as medical, or things that they alert people? Anything that they're limited by?
Well, it's surprising, especially the vision doctors. They like their own equipment. We all do.
I get, you're used to it.
Yeah, so. That you're used to your own equipment. So a lot of them will bring their own stuff. And so this doctor may be specializing in this, and this one just cleans teeth, or maybe this one, specializes in the extraction. And they just diversify and get it done. And it's really interesting, and this is something Stan Brock said when I heard him speak, is a lot of people, RAM becomes their doctor. They go from RAM to RAM, and that's where they get their medical care. And the RAM professionals, they know these people, don't they, Gary? They know who they are, because a lot of them will come every time.
Multiple times.
Mm-hmm. And that's their. We see Dr. Malagon. That's their Dr. Malagon. They just visit with those people so often because they come to the clinics on a regular basis. I did not understand that. I did not expect that, and that was surprising to me.
It's an ongoing need.
It is.
I think the dental and vision, they do anything they can almost in a regular dentist office.
Yeah.
Of course, you have some orthopedic surgeons and stuff there working. Now, I don't know how much of that kind of work they can do in that kind of setting. And then the vision's almost just exactly like going to an eye center.
Can get everything.
The doctor can do anything that a general practitioner can do.
Yeah.
So they can do pretty much anything they can at your general practitioner.
They prescribe like antibiotics, stuff like that.
In fact, that's what she's talking about. Like Jim McBride will open up on her Saturdays and Sundays, and hospitals also.
Yeah.
And we'll have a runner, and if they write a prescription for antibiotic for those people that they're doing work on, then stuff, not hard drug, but any kind of antibiotic stuff, they will go get it that day and give them to them. And RAM will pay for it, or WYSH or RAM will pay for it.
That's just fantastic. I just, again, want people to know, I think a lot of people think if they're not homeless living in the car, it's not for them. But it's evolved so much.
The underinsured, the ones that are not insured, maybe the ones that, have minimal, they're all welcome to come. But we do have something a little interesting this year that we're excited about, is Amanda Taylor is going to open up a resource tent.
Okay.
And so it's going to be like a mini resource fair that she always has every August.
Yeah.
And she's going to have tables there with individuals that can explain things to patients if they need, other resources.
Housing or help with things that they have. That's
kind of like a one-stop shop. And it's going to be under the tent. So it won't be in the church. It's in the tent. But we're going to have it.
With her doing those resource fairs, she has managed to make contact with hundreds of area folks that help. That probably a lot of us, even me in the media, didn't know about a lot of them. I didn't.
That's a real service to the community, because a lot of us don't know.
Absolutely.
And Amanda does. She knows, and if she doesn't have them there at the RAM clinic, she'll know which way to point them.
Do you care if we take a call or take a question?
Sure. So
be happy folks want to find out more about it. Good morning. Do you have a comment or question for our guest this morning?
Yeah, Ron, I did.
What's your...
I was down there a long time ago to the Ram.
Yes, ma'am. In the Clinton area?
Yeah, and they had those city bathrooms open. Does she know if they're going to be doing that?
The bathrooms in the city parking lot were open.
I don't know about that, but I know we're getting porta toilets.
She said that we don't know for sure on that, but there will be porta potties. For sure.
Oh, okay. Okay, that was really sweet that time, though, that you could go into the city bathrooms.
Okay.
While you were waiting.
Well,
Okay, that was it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. And if anybody else has any questions, if you'll call in, Jay will put you on hold and let me know, and we'll try and get them answered for you. And what else do we want folks to know about, or what else do we want, to ask folks for? Anything?
RAM now has some follow-up care at their Rockford facility.
Oh, wow.
And we try to do follow-up care as we can and can afford it. But we've also got some dentists, like the ones you named earlier, here locally, that will schedule and do some follow-up care after the RAM event. Not lots, but they will do what they can to help these people.
Something that I think is interesting, and this has nothing to do with the Clinton RAM Clinic at First Baptist Church, but if you go to the RAM website, they offer telemedicine.
Really?
And they've offered that for several years, and it's on the website, and you just kind of have to direct your way through it. But I think that's a wonderful service.
I had absolutely no idea that they did that. So anybody, anywhere, anytime can use it?
Can call for the telemedicine, and I think that's really special.
Yeah, that is, because that's very, very convenient. Yeah. In fact, I just used telemedicine the other day. I needed a prescription refilled. Instead of the doctor making me come in and everything, she said, if you'd like, we can just telephone, and they asked. Yeah, that was fantastic. That's very convenient, very helpful.
I just wanted to let people know that if they go to the website, they can look for those services if they're not able to come to our clinic.
And if they've got questions, they can just call the church, 457, we say, what'd you say, 9358?
Yes.
9358. And, or I'm sure it's on our website, too, at the church, isn't it?
It is. It's on the church website, and I post a lot on my website.
Okay.
To Johanna Cole Whitley on Facebook, and put a lot of information out through there. But now Joanne Swan is our leader. I don't know.
She's the general.
She is the general.
I know. I served on the trustee board. I know.
Yeah, listen, that is the most special lady.
Absolutely.
And she is so passionate about this that she lays at home at night worried about individuals and the fact that there's people that need care. But I just want to give a big shout out to Joanne, because she's the head knocker. She keeps us in line and keeps us going, and she is so passionate about this.
She called me early on, and she said, "We're doing this, and I need a I need a radiothon. Is that okay?" I said, "Absolutely." So a few weeks later, she called me back. She said, "Hey, I don't think we're going to need it." And I said, "Well, we'll do it. I'm happy to do it." I guess some of the corporate sponsors had come through, but
and she got some grants.
Okay, good.
She writes grants
that's
like
right.
Crazy. She received some grants, and then of course there's been private donations, but she's the special one, and she's a jewel.
It's quite a good investment when you can put $35,000 or $40,000 to bring these people in. You get hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical care in return, and then. Not just that, just the quality of life for the people that you're able to help is tremendous.
Well, we just love our Joanne, and she does a tremendous job with this, and she's passionate.
Yeah.
Kevin Bowling is working with Joanne. Kevin Bowling, Joanne, and Amanda Taylor are our three head knockers.
That's good.
And so they keep us going. We've got a meeting tonight because we're about a month out. So
it gets scary
really
when you get
serious.
this close.
Yeah, it really is.
You guys also head up our Wednesday night kind of youth program with kids at the church. You want to talk a little bit about that? Maybe invite some kids?
We just love our kids. I honestly don't know. They're just the sweetest. We took them on a retreat in Gatlinburg in May, And they were just priceless. I mean, they cleaned up after themselves. They, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, or no, sir. It was just, they're just the sweetest kids. And this year we graduated a lot of seniors, and that was sad. I wasn't ready to give them up. And we had one join the service, and I'm still sad. I'm happy for him, but I'm just scared for him. You know
Sure.
how you are when you join the service. But he'll finish his boot camp right at Thanksgiving, the week before Thanksgiving.
Wow.
But we are so blessed. I think they blessed us more than we blessed them, I think. They're just a sweet group.
We've got a new youth director, Chris Higgs. And he's doing a fantastic job. And what he's really doing, it's amazing, is he has taken on the Clinton community. He never misses a ball game, hardly. I don't care if it's volleyball or girls softball. He's there. If he's got a youth in it, he's there. And the youth is really growing. And so we're so happy that he's doing a really great job.
Well, we were talking earlier.
From Lake City.
The kids, we used to have the kids there more often, and I would like to get them back going, get them back involved. It's been difficult, but we're working toward doing that. Joanna, how long ago was it? I was just thinking about this when we talked about you coming up. The building downtown, the technology building. I remember when was it that you first took over as technology director of the schools?
Oh, I first took over in 99, 2000.
Okay.
I was a teacher and then a principal and then a parent-teacher technology trainer, and then I was the director after that. About 40 years. It's a lot of years there. But I didn't count them. I just didn't give that thought because I just really loved what we were doing. But I will say this about our community. Over the 40-year span, if we let the community know and our leaders know what our kids need, they filled the bill every time. I mean, we did that one-to-one technology.
Yeah.
Wow, before people were even thinking about it. And, the county stepped up and provided the funds for that. And the kids really did well through COVID because they had their one-to-one.
Yeah.
And it's not perfect, but it was the best that could be offered during that COVID time. It was just exciting. It was just really exciting time.
I just remember in the beginning, I don't know if you'd made changes to the building or whatever, but somehow we were invited to tour it.
Open house, yeah.
And then you were showing us the levels of what the kids knew. Mm-hmm. My computing level at the time was the same as an Anderson County kindergartner. I swear to it. I thought, holy cow, but it was so impressive. And the technology that's in this building right now, Wade put in.
Yeah.
Wade and Ryan.
Wade's there now.
Yeah, they're still, those guys are still there. They've
wonderful
been there.
People.
Absolutely wonderful people. And so helpful.
We wouldn't have been where we were without those good people. We had Stuart Hicks controlling the network. And he would put something on the network. I'd get so tickled. I'd be so excited because, we had a new piece of software. And Stu'd put it up and get it loaded and all. And he'd come in my office and he said, well, it's on there, but don't move in. He told me that every time because he knew I was going to move in. Because I just could not resist a new piece of software for the kids. But
well, you were integral in getting us ACTV, too.
Yes.
That was a big part. I remember all that, getting all that put together and started. That was...
Stuart Higgs, the one that was controlling the network, he also turned the TV studio on one day. And, it was just kind of fuzzy lines, you know, and he called me back there, and him and Ron were so excited because we had the TV studio, and I said, okay, what do we do now?
Find something to put on
we
it.
We got to learn this. And so we interviewed for Andy Garrett that's there now. And all those guys are still there. It's just a special place.
Well, and it's a great service to the community. And now everything's archived. You know, if I miss something on county commission or something, I can just go click a button and put it up. And I remember when all that was just starting, and it was so intriguing. You were right there in the middle of it, in the midst of it.
I was trying.
Well, I used to always say, if I had a problem that we couldn't figure out, I could call Wade or I'd call Ryan, and they would
call Stu, call any of those boys.
Yeah.
And David Beats, they were just the end all be all. They're still there. They're still there helping. They were young.
Oh, yeah, they were young.
They were young. I hired some of them straight out of college.
Wade was one of the ones that came pretty much out of college, didn't he? Because I know
Wade taught 1 year.
Okay.
And then he came to us. And Stuart and Wade actually live on the same street at Oliver
I didn't know
Springs
that.
And have been best friends their whole life.
Okay.
Stuart's a year older than Wade, but they have been best friends since they were youngsters.
Well, it's been about 7 years ago, I guess. I was looking at buying what was the old drugstore building there on the corner of Market and Main.
Mm-hmm.
We went down there, and I was looking at buying that. And I wanted to turn it into one of those virtual arcades for kids after school, and that was, and it was just overwhelming. But I called Wade, and I said, after school or after work, will you meet me? And he was like, yeah. And he brought like 3 guys with him. And he said, here's what, if you're going to do this, it's going to be a big deal. And he told me every single thing that I needed to do. Didn't have to do that. And I said, well, let me pay you guys for helping. They were like, no, we just came over here to help you.
They love it.
Well, they
do love it.
They're very kind.
We're all nerds down there. And so
they love to share the nerdism.
Yes, it really is. And we would have staff meeting and all come together, and we'd have a problem we had to work out. And we'd all give our opinion. But we came up with the right answer, Well, everybody had input.
I just think you did a really good job. You got that started off going and running, and it's continuing today and growing every day.
The boys have got it going good.
They do.
Back to RAM, those boys are the one. Used to RAM had a tent outside, and we, the volunteers, would have tons of computers that were RAM computers, but we had to furnish the internet and all that set up.
Yeah.
And they didn't bring them in 10 at a time. They brought them in hundreds.
I remember that.
Just to line them up.
Yeah.
And they'd set all that technology up under that tent.
On Friday, they would come and just set it all up.
And set it all up.
Boost the routers and so forth.
You enjoying retirement?
Oh, my. Had I known.
You did that as soon as?
I might have counted those years had I known. It is a blessing. Gary and I feel very blessed to feel well enough to run and go and do. And we're just... I loved that, but now I love this.
Gary Jr.'s kids are busy too, aren't they?
We're trying to keep up. We're trying to keep up.
They run us good. We love it, but they keep us going.
That's fantastic.
We have a special calendar just for their events. We really do.
Yeah, I guess you need one. Yeah. I've got the 3 boys with Trey in the band, and James David's playing basketball for Chris this year. At high school. Now he's got practice, and Jacob's got things he's doing. Trey's in the band, trying to make it to this and make it to that. And then with Tracy's daughter, Demi, she just turned 16, got her driver's license. And so I know what it's like. I'm chasing my tail, too,
Hannah
nowadays.
Hannah just got her driver's license in May.
Oh, there you go.
It's a whole different world.
Well, I said, I'm glad, because now I got somebody else to chauffeur.
Well,
I got a helping hand.
So. That's true. That is helpful.
We're proud of your son, UT.
Thank you. I am, too. He's taken off. He's doing well. I got to researching it once he told me he had been accepted. I didn't realize this. You first apply to be in the he's not a music major. He's a music minor. He's going to be an astrophysicist. That's what he's working toward. Yeah. I said, what is that?
Yeah, well, I don't think we have one of those in Clinton.
He said, I'll be looking for new stars. And I'll be studying. I was like, wow, that's cool. But minor music, first you have to be accepted into the music department. And there's a way to do that. You have to go through this. Anyway, you get accepted in the music department. Then you apply for what you want to do inside of the music department: marching band, pep band, concert band, all these different things that you apply to be. And of course, the marquee thing is to be in the Pride of the Southland Marching Band. Sure. And a lot of them don't make that. And so he made it. He got into it. And he called me the other day, and he said, Dad, I need a new saxophone. I was like, okay. And then he told me, he said, I made first saxophone in the band. I was like, whoa, really? Okay. The first time I went to watch him march down the hill on the opening game, I'm sure you guys have experienced this. I hadn't. It was one of those moments outside of him being born. It was the most emotional. I had never had that just overwhelming pride. It almost made you cry. You know what I mean? Just like.
Oh, absolutely.
And
how wonderful.
The guy who was standing next to me, he was like, "You got a kid in the band?"
He could feel it.
I said, yes, sir. He said, what's he play? I said, he plays saxophone. He said, my son's a sophomore. This is his second year. He plays trombone, and he was very proud. He said, my son made second trombone this year, his sophomore year. And I was like, okay. I wanted so bad to say,
brag a little.
I want to say Trey made first saxophone, but I didn't.
That's awesome.
So you're in the market for a saxophone.
Oh, we got one. We got him one. We were going to get it from Russia's. He had picked out what he wanted, but one of the directors of the band came to him and showed him some of the places that they got theirs, and they were able to get him a better saxophone for the same amount of money through the school. We had to pay for it, but they helped him get discounts. So it was he got his saxophone. He's very happy with it.
Well,
so
our nephew was in the band. He graduated last year, and he was featured as the soloist. Where the trumpets come out and play the alma mater. He did that, and I did cry. I can almost cry right now. It was overwhelming, and we taped it on our phones. We recorded it, and all you can hear is my brother, who was the papaw, Johnny, saying, "That's my grandson. That's my grandson."
I get it completely.
It's a proud moment.
Well, I grew up, Tennessee tradition and all that, and I get not emotional, but I get excited just watching the tea and all the other stuff that we grew up with. And then Trey told me, he said, Dad, when we make the tea, I messed up. He said, when we make the tea, I'm right on the sideline. I'm afraid I'm going to get run over by football players because he's the first person at the top of the tee. But I thought he was at the top of the tee on home side. He's not. He's at the top of the tee on the visitor side. So I was looking. I was like, where is he? So I finally figured it out. But he's the first person, or he was, at the top of the tee. And they compete just like football players for their place, on a consistent basis. If you miss up marching or you don't show something, there's a replacement. Pushed right in. I did not realize that, or the demand that was like their uniforms. If you have it on, you have it all on. They're very the code of conduct. Mm-hmm. It's strict. They can't say, and there's a lot they can't say or do if they're in those uniforms, and even out of the uniforms, if they get into any kind of meanness, they're gone. And it's good.
It is good.
Anything else that we want to let folks know about Ram or church or whatever?
We just want them to come and feel welcome to come, and we will treat them with honor and respect and be so happy to see them. We'll try every way we can to fulfill their need. We give out food on Tuesdays for people that need food. We try to cover, hunger, sickness, all those things that we can. But it's just when you leave there, you've been in God's house.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just really, really special. You've done what God's asked you to do.
Well, I appreciate you, too. You guys have done a lot in the community for a long time.
Well, it's really Joanne,
Absolutely.
She was on the gym floor, golly, a year and a half ago, and she hollered out, and she said, "Hey, we're going to have a Ram in November of 24. You going to do the social media?" And I said, "Well, yeah." Next thing I knew, we're at meetings. But she just so casually asked, and you just can't say no. She's so precious.
She is, and she can get things done. And she can get people to do stuff that other people can't get them to do.
Exactly.
So she knows how to do it.
She's a sweet lady.
We're blessed to have her.
Absolutely.
Thank you again for coming up. Thank you for what you do. And I appreciate the work that you do with the youth. I want to get the boys back in as much as we can.
Betty, they'll like it because they love to play that ball, don't they?
James David does,
they
for sure.
Play ball. That's
they
one
like
thing
that.
They do. But then we'll tell them, come up at 6:05 and we're going to have our lesson. And they appear. They're just, no much.
That's
you
good.
don't have to go back down and say, "Come on up." They're just good kids. Really special children.
Very
kids
good.
You would like your kids to be around.
That's a group. That's a big deal, too, today.
It's a big deal. It's a very big
Today's world is, again, the twins are 14, Demi's 16. And I last year went to something at the middle school. And the things that I heard and the kids, I was just...
It's a different world.
It is a real different world. And I talked to Dr. Parrott, and I said, told him, and he was like, "We're at a point in time, Ron, we have to pick our battles because we have a lot of battles. A lot. It's a lot different than and it is. So I know that being involved with good kids is good, and we need all the help we can get with our kids through church and civic organizations.
Kids to be with. But thank you for having us.
You're
we
welcome.
Just appreciate it so much.
Anytime.
We are so excited about RAM, and we just want everybody to know.
Well, I've got it on the bulletin board. It'll run through until the vaccine
Well, we've got signs that we're going to start plastering in the community because we know some people don't, live in the social media world.
Sure.
So we're going back to the paper pencil and put it on a lot of bulletin boards around the community.
Fantastic.
So everybody will just share the word.
Are we doing anything church-wise? I was looking for our friends up in Newport. Are we raising any money or any food or water or anything you know of?
I saw something that. Well, there's a truck at Second Baptist,
yes.
The Baptist Association, and First Baptist. It says if you want to make donations, where to make them. It's on our website.
Okay.
And also that if you for water and stuff, that the truck is up at Second, and some other places.
Yeah, and the police department,
yes.
gathered water too.
We went out. We did a thing with Gary Terry. We were out yesterday, I believe, up there, and they're filling up the Maverick. They're filling up that truck, taking it, and a lot of people came by and donated. Thank you very much for that. But we were over there with Merle. So.
I was up at the grocery outlet, and the guy come in and said, "I want all that water."
Wow.
And that girl said, "Do what?" He said, "I want all that water." And she said, "Okay."
Bring it up. Yeah, that's amazing. And the devastation is evidently just speechless.
Yes.
It is.
I saw a road. It was a little town, a community. I can't even remember where it was, but they showed the before, and it looked like this little quaint shopping, and it's gone. I mean, it's just gone, and I couldn't. And then we still got people unaccounted for. Could you imagine? Breaks your
having
heart.
to go this long and maybe forever. It just is.
Yeah,
the saddest thing there could be.
I saw a map. It showed a map of the area at night from satellite, before and after, and there is a swath. I don't know how many miles, but it's just black with no power, no lights, no nothing. And I guess they're working to restore cell service, but they don't even have that right now. So, I mean, you pray for all of our friends just to the northeast of us. I guess it would be. Yeah. Thanks for coming, you guys.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you so much. And anything you need as far as RAM's concerned that we can do, we'll help any way we can.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Boy, Ron, you do a good.
Thank you for listening to AM 1380 WYSH and Ask Your Neighbor. Make sure you tune in at 10 a.m. each day, Monday through Friday, right here on AM 1380 WYSH and BBB TV 12, or listen live online at WYSH.